More voices across the country continue to oppose the proposed Protection Sovereignty Bill 2026, cautioning that it threatens civil liberties, rights, and Uganda's economic stability. Recently tabled before Parliament, the bill was framed as a necessary step to protect the country from undue foreign influence. Today, some members of civil society from different regions gathered to discuss the implications of the proposed bill on various sectors of the economy. Clause 1 of the draft bill refers to all citizens of the country living abroad as foreigners and those working with them as foreign agents. Civil society activists say this hinders citizens' right to movement.
Now the bill is trying to override what the Constitution says on citizenship. It's saying if you leave the country, you're becoming a foreigner. And as we shall see later on, this is a discrimination on grounds of exercising your right to movement, because you have a right to move outside the country and back. So if the government is deciding that on you leaving the country you become a non-citizen or a foreigner by this bill, that's the ground of discrimination.
Joel Peter Namgera, a lawyer from Onyango and company advocates, says the restriction on movement will affect the economy since many youths often travel abroad in search of greener pastures.
We have a big problem of unemployment that government has failed to solve, as you could say. And not out of their willingness, many Ugandans are forced to leave the country in search for greener pastures. But after they leave, government is coming up and saying, when you leave the country or when you stay outside the country, we are labeling you as a foreigner. And any finances that you'll be remitting back to the country, we have an oversight on them.
Among the beneficiaries of the remittances from abroad are women, children, and the elderly. If the bill is passed, this would label them as foreign agents. The activists questioned how families would cope if remittances were subjected to strict government approvals.
One of the key concepts or the key duties of civil society is to influence government policy, to shape how government runs, to shape how rights are implemented and enforced. Yeah, so they will be affected, but also the ordinary Ugandan, because as being that we are a low income country, we benefit much from programs of these civil societies. If you're restricting their funding, if you're restricting how they are working, it means we are going to be pushed into a corner. Yeah, the mother out there who is benefiting from maternal health programs from a certain NGO may not receive these programs because their money is being held up because the minister hasn't approved the funding. We have children who are on scholarships.
They say the bill does not fully explain the interests of Ugandans versus those of foreigners. They describe the bill as one that restricts freedom of expression among its citizens.
The interests of Ugandans, the bill talks about promoting interests of a foreigner against interests of a Ugandan, but it doesn't talk about what are the interests of the Ugandan. Are they interests of the government? Are they interested in, because we are supposed to decide what our interests are.
In the proposed bill, the minister is given powers to approve funding. Activists said many programs could come to a standstill, along with their beneficiaries, which could endanger their organizations.
Many NGOs or CSOs operate on budgets beyond this amount, which means you're going to have activities put on standstill because you're waiting for the minister's approval. And the bill does not provide for a time limit within which this approval is to be provided.
They have called on the government to revise the existing laws in place, noting that they can address the concerns the proposed Sovereignty Bill 2026 seeks to handle. They stated that the bill is intended to make Ugandans poorer.
We have enough laws in place, and the bill in itself, on its reading clearly, it's drafted poorly. And the intentions they're saying it's intended to cure or solve can be actually handled within the existing laws. So there is no need for such a law.
If the proposed bill is passed, the activists intend to seek justice from the Constitutional Court. Many other civil society actors have also called on the government to revise the bill before it's passed.
I feel this bill is being brought, but it's a little bit unfair. Especially when you look at how they term a foreigner.
Don't support this bill because it will affect our jobs, it will affect Ugandans, it will affect some compassions, it will affect banks, it will affect almost everything.
The only recourse would be going to the Constitutional Court because, as I mentioned, it has very many provisions that contravene provisions of the Constitution and decisions that have already been made by the Constitutional Court and the Supreme Court.
The Minister of Internal Affairs has, under the proposed law, been given the mandate to register all Ugandans who wish to act as agents of foreigners. Only those registered will be permitted to engage with foreigners recognized by the government. Subject to the Anti-Money Laundering Act, an agent of the foreigner or any person receiving funding from a foreigner must declare the source of funds to the minister. Offenders face up to 20 years in jail and a fine of 2 billion Ugandan shillings. Maria Jacinta Kanyange, NTV.